My name is Peter Berninger.
My name is Terry Arinci. We're with AV Showrooms.
We've just come back from Munich, Germany, where we've attended two of the best hi-fi shows in the world today. Leading off was the Hi-Fi Deluxe show. Hi-Fi Deluxe it's a small show. It's some people could say it's an outlaw show, but it runs simultaneous to the show of shows, the High-End Society's big event at the Munich Order Center, or also known as the MOC.
And it's held at the Marriott.
Yeah.
So you can take a little shuttle bus from the Marriott to the MOC every 15 minutes. And that bus was packed every time I was getting on. And a couple of times I wasn't able to get on the next bus. So it was a really good idea for the small show to hire that bus. And it's a very intimate show. It was a show born of passion. The exhibitors are pretty much the same people with a few add-ons every year that are very relaxed, setting up and demonstrating their equipment to the attendees. There's not a lot of tension or nervousness in the air that I feel at other shows.
Yeah, I agree with that. If you go to a CES, everything is buttoned down. People have their expensive suits on. People have a little meeting area set up in their exhibit rooms. It's not all about the sound or the passion of music. Where Hi-Fi Deluxe, that's really what it's about. The sound and the passion.
Yeah. It's such a nice environment. It's a jewel of a show is what I like to say. It's a jewel in the audio show crown.
Yeah.
I really mean that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Another reason to go to Munich to the high-end show is to see this show. You shouldn't miss it. It's just too easy to go back and forth. So
yeah, in fact,
I highly recommend it.
Yeah, we recommended to one of the manufacturers, Synergistic Research, that they should check the show out this year, and they did, and they exhibited there, and they thought it was one of the best shows, if not the best show they've ever exhibited at. In fact, they signed up even for a bigger room next year.
Yeah.
So people that do exhibit there, they get results, and they have fun showing their products off to people who are understanding, people who are not there to challenge the manufacturer. They're there to learn from the manufacturer, and I like that. I like that aspect of it. What was one of the standout rooms for you?
Well, one of the first rooms that we stopped in, and that was Tarage's Vertier room, where he had his beautiful turntables and tone arms. Really beautiful stuff. And he had the PMC loudspeakers, I believe, and FM Acoustics Electronics. And we played a Vanessa Fernandez LP, and the bass was a little bit too much for me. Maybe it's just my taste. But her voice punched through so beautifully in that room that I had I forget I'm at a show in an exhibitor's room moment.
Wow.
And if that happens to me, you got to get some kind of award or some kind of mention from me, because I really forgot where I was. So hats off to you, Taraj. Great job in that room.
Yeah, that was great. And the speakers, you'll see it in the video. The speakers they look like pro audio speakers. When I walked into the room, I thought, well, this is just going to be interesting. I guess he just kind of, this was an afterthought to have this speaker company. But no, these are really fine, sophisticated loudspeakers. Vanessa's voice just hung right there in space in that room. It was truly a magnificent sounding room.
Yeah.
Except a little teeny bassy. But, you can't have it all at a hi-fi show.
No, and it kind of shows that it doesn't have to be perfect to have it really, really engage.
Yep,
there just had to be something there that made me forget I was at a show, and that was worth it. So.
Yeah. Another standout room for me now, just a little short of having the Gold Show Award this year, was the FM Acoustics room. And this had two FM acoustic systems. It had the big system, and these are bespoke speakers that Manuel builds for select clients. I mean, they're not in the catalog.
The sound comes out of the top.
Yeah, there's a speaker on the top, there's speakers on the back. So it's kind of an omni effect. It's a powered speaker. You'll hear it. We played both. There's two systems that they had in the room. We played them both on the same track. You can hear the echo in the room. And that's the only demerit I would give it, because everything else was big, live. It was like being in a rock concert stadium.
Yeah, with that echo.
Yeah, with the echo. Well, I want to add one here. I'll jump in. The JMF room. It's a French company, and they make a universal player that will read your disc and select what it is, whether it's a SACD or it's a Blu-ray or whatever it might be. It will sense the best resolution, and then it'll play it back as a source component. They manufacture electronics, and they also manufacture horned loudspeakers. And you'll see in the video, there's a little bit of a Paul Simon track near the end of the video. Oh my goodness gracious! It's holographic in the room, and it kind of all the instruments kind of hang in space independently of each other. It was, I think, because of that spatial aspect of it, I'd have to say that that was perhaps the best room from that aspect. From punchy standpoint, I'd have to give it to Taraj, but the way those speakers punched out. But from a staging and an effervescent feel to the music floating, that French audio room was just superb. JMF, guys, check that room out. How another room, Terry?
Acapella.
Yeah.
Which I always
yeah,
like
yeah.
Herman Winter's room.
Yeah.
And his partner, who spins the records, that is
Alfred.
Alfred,
yeah.
he's there every year. And Alfred is very specific when he spins a record. He has to clean it with his special cleaning solution, and the stylus gets cleaned, and the record gets cleaned, and there's a little ritual that goes on. Everybody sits so politely and nicely and waits for him to put the record on. Well, we asked him to put one of our records on that was just cleaned by Claudio. And we had
Claudio
a little
machine.
signature on a label on the
That we had a Claudio clean.
It was already cleaned. And he didn't want to hear about that.
He didn't want to play that.
It didn't matter to him. So we had to go and find Herman Winters to explain to Alfred that it would be a good idea for us to hear the record that we wanted to play, and he did go along with it. Thank you, Alfred.
Yeah, thank you, Alfred.
Watch this.
Yeah.
Thank you very much
Yeah.
for breaking your routine. And he cleaned it, so she was the cleanest record at the show. She cleaned
yeah.
twice, and it sounded beautiful.
Yeah, it was just
It was
superb. It was the first day on the acapella room. I mentioned right to the camera that this is the best I've ever heard
It
an
was
acapella
really
system.
good the first day.
It was
What
real
I
good.
forget what the recording
Real
was
good.
that we were
Real
listening
good.
to.
And it was some
beautiful.
spatial stuff, and you'll check it
Yeah.
out, and you can put it through Spotify if you can't find it, because we didn't get the name of what
Mm-hmm.
was being played. It's sometimes hard when you go into a room. You don't want to disrupt the demonstration.
Mm-hmm.
As much as we want the viewers to see what's going on, it is like you're attending a show with us.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not going to go up and like throw the guy down on the mat and say, put our music on. You know, it's just, you just got to, take your time. You got to take your turn. So we didn't ask on that one because they were in the middle of a demo. But when we played the Vanessa the next day, you can hear it. It's just, she's just in the room with you. A little soft on top. It was my only demerit in that room on the second
very
day.
small demerit.
Very small demerit. It overcame the demerit to win a gold.
And we're going to see them
award.
next week.
Yeah.
At Newport, the Newport show. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that too. So hear those horns in there and how unhorn-like or uncuppy they sound.
If I took the time to replace what my mind erased, I still feel as if I'm here better now.
Anyway, you have to mention Ted's room, Ted Denny from Synergistic
Yeah.
Research. I didn't get the demo. I was a door watcher.
Well, there's a little
Peter got
story.
the demo.
A little story. We found out after the fact that a number of people came over to Hi-Fi Deluxe to see the Verter room and to see the Synergistic room and a handful of other rooms. Some high-level media people in our industry were given a demo by Ted Denny, and they were amazed. He had a Bose radio, plastic Bose radio.
Yeah, it's hard to believe.
And all of his treatments to enhance the sound of the plastic Bose radio, and he was able to make the Bose radio actually image. I mean, it was. Well, how does that work? How does he do it? But he did. So, guys, check out the Synergistic Research video. I can hear differences when I edited the video. In post-production, you could hear it, and then you could hear it when everything was turned on, how expansive the stage got. I mean, it was very, very plain. You could hear it very easily. So check out that video.
And, of course, 3 years in a row, one of the best rooms at Hi-Fi Deluxe is Malval.
Yeah. Yeah, the Malval room, Malval is a tube audio manufacturer. Dieter Malik is the proprietor, and he was there with his son. His son helped him set up this year. His son is a PhD student. How cool is that? In engineering school. So fruit doesn't fall far from the tree. Dieter's sound is always extremely realistic and fast. It's like you have the old quad, the speed of a quad and electrostatic, but you have the punch of a dynamic driver. And he calls these magnestatic drivers. So you want to look at that video, you want to look at those loudspeakers. They're very, very interesting design. And with all of his tube components, they just came to life. And they came to life in a very realistic, lifelike or holographic way.
And he has the same room, or he has for the last 3 years,
Yeah.
and it sounded exactly the same.
Exactly the same, yep.
Which is above and beyond a lot of rooms that I heard at both shows.
Yeah, yeah.
Congratulations, Dieter.
Yeah, congratulations. That was really a good showing. And we have a little bit better sensor in our cameras this year, so the room has black velvet in the background and it puts black components in front of the black velvet. So we don't use flash because you can't use flash with a video camera. So you'll see this year you can actually see the definition in the Mal valve components, and they are striking. Interestingly, all of his amplifiers use outboard output transformers, so that the lead comes into the outboard output transformer, and then that's what converts it over for the speaker to wire into. Every one of his amplifiers does. So I'd love to test one someday. So great sound from Mal valve.
Yeah, and I'm going to give a little shout out for Audio Note. We tried a
Yeah.
couple of times to wade through the crowds. It's mobbed in that
Mobbed.
room. Again, every year in Audio Note room, it's like that they just come down in droves. And Mario had all this rock and roll and stuff that I'm not used to on Audio Note, but it sounded damn good. It's just trying to get a seat, and you didn't want to disturb these people. They're so serious in that room.
Yep.
But
Yeah,
it was a delight to be able to go in there a couple of times and hear what Mario
I
was
agree. And you're
playing.
going to rock out when you hear that. when you hear that.
Yeah. Yeah, so those are the most memorable rooms. Of course, I don't want to diminish any of the other rooms. They were all good. The sound at that show is above average for any large show or regional show. So these guys did a bang-up job, and it's in a delightful environment venue, the Marriott Hotel. I highly recommend it to anyone who's going to Munich to attend a high-end. Also include that in your agenda because it's 15 minutes. Every 15 minutes by bus to get there. So.
Yeah, it's the best 15-minute bus ride you'll ever have.
And you know, the buses were crowded. A couple
Yeah.
of times I had to wait for the second bus, meaning that people were coming over and to the show. And you could see the halls, and the rooms were very crowded. So
Yep.
the show is a small show, but it's a very successful small show.
Yep.
It's a different beast from the MOC, and it's supposed to be.
Yep. Speaking of the MOC, in the next Reviewer's View, we'll be reporting on the show of shows. And we'll be awarding and bestowing our Gold Show Awards for the MOC. But sonically, I think that the Hi-Fi Deluxe show is a little bit better sound overall this year. So, again, you'll hear it in the videos. And stay tuned for that Reviewer's View.
Yes.
Yep. Peter Bruning reporting for
AV Showrooms, along with Terry Arinci.
Good. We'll see you at the next Reviewer's View. And we'll see you at the next audio show.
Bye.
Bye.